Well, this is certainly not how I planned doing this video. I'm not gonna lie, this was originally supposed to be live action, acting as sort of a benchmark to use my new phone as a camera for the first time. Some tech issues and a complete and utter disaster of a recording session later, and here I am, behind the mic one more time. This time, it's not for an album review, rather to give you guys my list of the top 5 least favorite songs I reviewed in 2020. I'm avoiding the term worst for this video to try and mitigate the absolute shitstorm this video is inevitably going to cause. This is all my opinion, and I can almost guarantee that you're going to disagree with me on these choices. Even though you can't really disagree with me on something that's completely subjective, that's not going to stop some of you. Alright, just one rule before I begin. I have to have initially reviewed the song in 2020. Even though I've made a few music-related videos in the past, 2020 is the first year I've taken it sorta seriously. So any song that I listened to just for fun back in those days is exempt, which means that any and all Bad Baby songs that I've reviewed in the past or otherwise are not eligible for this list. Other than that, any song that I've given a number review on either YouTube or Twitter is eligible for scrutiny in this video. Without further ado, here are my picks for the top 5 least favorite songs I reviewed in 2020. Number 5 is AC/DC, No Man's Land.
Come on, new train. Come on, need to get out. I said, come on, new train. Come on, don't you mess me about.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this one is a bit painful for me to include. Ever since I was introduced to AC/DC via my father, I've always really enjoyed their music. Back in Black and Dirty Deeds are some of my favorite albums to come back to whenever a review goes awry, and it's pretty amazing that these guys have been rocking together since the 1970s. Even with this said, they're not immune from having a few dud songs every now and then. This is one of those duds.
You're coming back from the moon. Now you gotta get away. And live another day.
Ugh, why the hell does this song feel so damn slow? Listening to the rest of the album didn't feel like so much of a chore as it does with this song. It's only 3 minutes and 40 seconds long, but it felt like 5 minutes when I first listened to it for my review. I mean, sure, the main riff is pretty good, but that goes for every song on this album, and most of their songs that came before this. Musically, the song is fine, it could just stand to move a little bit faster. When stacked up against the rest of Power Up, it moves at a snail's pace. Also, I know I'm normally terrible at analyzing lyrics, but even after extensively looking at Genius and pondering it heavily, I can't for the life of me figure out what the hell is going on in this song. I can't even tell if it has a meaning because most of the lyrics just kind of repeat themselves. The verses are very lackluster and the rest is just all repeating what the chorus is saying. Number 4 is Luke Bryan, Too Drunk to Drive.
There ain't a liquor store, dive bar, corner booth for 20 miles around. We ain't on a boat on a lake in the sun with a cooler loaded down.
I know what a lot of you are probably not thinking. What? A Luke Bryan song from 2020 that's not One Margarita? If you've watched a lot of year-end reviews like I have, you'll know that One Margarita is a primary target from Luke Bryan's latest studio release for other reviewers to rip into. While the song isn't fantastic by any stretch of the imagination, I personally didn't find it as bad as some of the others did, so it avoids my ire. What doesn't get a free pass from me, however, is the song about a motif that's been done to fucking death.
Girl, I'm too drunk to drive. What do I do with you? Let's lay low tonight. Got me high, got me right, got me flying, 'cause you're looking so fine. I ain't had no shot, ain't drank a drop, but I'm too drunk to drive.
Yep, it's another song about being drunk in love. Never mind cold beer or whiskey, the typical libations for a country music star. Luke here is drunk in love this time. Again. The reason why I say again is because he's released this exact same song before, about 9 years ago. It was called Drunk on You, and personally, I think it's a lot better than this one. Both of these songs essentially cover the same exact topic of feeling intoxicated by a person of interest's attention. The only real difference between this and any of the other ones that I can think of off the top of my head is that there's clearly some sexing going on here because Luke's gotta show us he's 9 years older than he was back when tailgates and tan lines showed up in 2011. Well, either that, or he knows that songs that don't reference sex at some point don't get any sort of commercial traction.
You can hide my keys, lock the door. Maybe we can find something here to do. Maybe wreck some sheets, crash your lips into mine, and not even make the news.
Clearly, Luke's never heard of Subtlety, because even I picked that one up. Other than its tired concept, this song's actually not terrible. Luke here actually sounds halfway decent, and the instruments sound fine, but the recycling of an old trope is what bogs it down for me, no matter how old the other song might be. Personally, I just listen to Drunk on You, or if you want a song about this exact same subject that I find far better than both of the aforementioned, go for Drunk on Your Love by Brett Eldridge. Number 3 is Hyoyeon, Mystery.
무심한 듯 네 시선을 멈추게 한때 불안하게 요동치기 시작하는 breath 리듬 속에 내 몸짓이 역시 내게 내면처럼 빠져드는 eyes 나를 바라봐.
Okay, this one really shouldn't serve as a shock to any of you. The only thing that might even be relatively surprising is it only being number 3. If you've been paying any sort of attention to my channel over the past 6 months, you'll know that I really don't like this song that much. But it would make sense to think that since I've talked about this song more than once during the year, it would at least be in the top 2. But alas, here we are.
마치 홀린 듯이 아무도 몰래 맘을 뺏긴 듯이 숨은 가득하게 깊이 빠진 듯이 그래 그렇게
You know, I feel the need to break the fourth wall and let you in on a little something something. This song doesn't have an English translation on Genius, as you'd expect. This song isn't exactly by a world-renowned artist. So, after a little bit of searching, I managed to find one. It is very, very possible that what I am showing on screen is incorrect. But that honestly adds to the fun a little bit, if I may say so myself. The only real issue I see stemming from this is that if the translation isn't bullshit and it's all correct, the song's lyrics make about as much sense as the beat behind her. Like, I've never seen anyone use 2 percussion tracks, both of which are using different sound libraries and are playing on top of each other. That alone makes the backing track incredibly confusing to listen to, and the lack of any boom in the bass just makes the music uninteresting on top of that. The only synth effects used throughout this, whatever this is, are in the chorus in the form of, well...
Mystery, 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 mystery.
Are we sure those are MIDI effects? Honestly, you could tell me that they got those sounds from some sick elephants in Africa, and I'd believe you. I don't think I've ever heard someone use a MIDI instrument and have it sound so out of place. Okay, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt for 1 second here. Hyoyeon herself doesn't sound bad. She's actually okay. She was a dancer in her previous group, so I didn't really expect her to have a fantastic voice. But I was surprised to hear that she's not actually that bad. I would even call it decent. But that's where the compliments end. Mainly because I'm all out of them. Number 2 is Blackpink, Lovesick Girls.
영원한 밤 창문 없는 방에 우리를 가둔 love What can we say 매번 아파도 외치는 love
I know this one's gonna be controversial. I can imagine right now somewhere some Blink is getting all worked up because I dare talk shit about one of their deities' songs. To that I say, just stay tuned. Anyway, I will admit that this is a very personal entry for a reason that I really don't want to get into. In order to avoid why I hate this song as much as I do, I'll just try my best to avoid the subject matter of the song and talk about it musically. It's fine, I guess. Extra points for me for using real guitars on the pre-chorus. You guys should know by now how I feel about real instruments. It's decently paced and has a good amount of energy. My problems with the song really start when I mention the vocals, though.
We are the lovesick girls 네 멋대로 내 사랑을 끝낼 순 없어 We are the lovesick girls 이 아픔 없이 난 아무 의미가 없어
The way all 4 girls sound in unison on the chorus just doesn't sound good. The way I see it, most of the time, you either let the lead singer handle the chorus, or if everyone's gonna chip in, you better have a fuck ton of members to make it sound halfway decent. The best entire group courses, in my opinion, are from groups that have at least 7 members, which is something that they just flat don't have. They all sound fine during their individual parts, though. That's really it. That's all I have, honestly. Next entry, please. Let's just end this. And the award for my least favorite song that I reviewed in 2020 goes to, as if it wasn't already obvious, Blackpink and Selena Gomez, Ice Cream.
Come a little closer 'cause you look thirsty. I'ma make it better, slip it like a slurpee.
Okay, now this one really shouldn't surprise anyone. If you watch my initial reactions to the music video, you'll know the extent to which I dislike just about everything about this song. The instrumental is one of, if not their producer Teddy's worst yet. It is the absolute antithesis of everything that makes Blackpink so appealing. I understand that every producer has a bad day at the office, but for fuck's sake, this could account for at least 10 or 12 of them. I can already hear people saying, I'd like to see you do any better off of the distance, but there's a massive difference between us. I'm just an asshole who's talking about music on the internet. He's a professional producer who gets paid to make music. The only thing that he has that I envy is the ability to get paid to suck at what I do. Any issues that I may have with the vocals are honestly more with the guest feature and not so much the main item on the ticket. Blackpink are fine on this song, even though it doesn't really fit their whole attempting to be badass image. But it wasn't enough to just have Blackpink on this song. They had to go and get Selena Gomez for what I can assume is no reason other than to give it a shot at a radio run in the States. That's what it feels like anyway. She has absolutely no presence on this track to the point where if I hadn't watched the music video in my initial review, I would have questioned whether or not she was even there at all.
Coldest with the kiss, so he call me ice cream. Catch me in the fridge, right where the ice be.
And my final gripe with this song lies with the lyrics. Okay, why in the holy mother of fuck did they think that using food as a euphemism for sex was a good idea? It's not. Not in the slightest. Nobody can make it work. Prove me wrong. I dare you. They really should have taken notes when they saw Justin Bieber do the same thing with Yummy early on in the year and how everyone subsequently reacted to it. Spoiler alert, everyone hated it and they didn't do it any better.
Diamonds on my wrist, so he call me ice cream. You could double dip, 'cause I know you like me.
See, just hearing that doesn't make me want seconds. It makes me want to hightail the fuck on out of there and swing by Wendy's on the way home before we even get to dinner. It's weird is what I'm trying to say. All of this together just combines perfectly into creating my personal least favorite song that I reviewed in 2020. Well, there you go. I can only hope that all discussion that may take place in the comment section remains civil. I guess if I have to mention it, honorable mention goes out to Luna, Butterfly, just for these 2 seconds. Ugh, that sounded a little rough. Maybe lower the note if you can't hit it next time? All right, girls. What did you need me to get again?